Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to compare two AI semiconductor stocks in Intel and Micron Technology and answer which one I think is the better stock to buy today. I'm going to compare these two semiconductor stocks on revenue, profitability, cash flow, and the prospects for the next 2 years and weigh them all against their valuation to determine which one I think is the better buy today.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/Parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
So let's start with comparing these two on revenue, and neither of which have done well over the recent few years. You can see Intel in the purple, revenue falling from nearly 80 billion down to 54.23 billion, and Micron Technology falling as well, hitting 16.18 billion. Intel and Micron were suffering in recent years due to the replacement cycle of personal computers. They are both exposed to that industry. Remember, in 2020 and 2021, there was a bit of a surge in personal computer purchases because people were working from home, learning from home, spending a lot more time at home, and so having only one computer per household was no longer enough. You needed more than one computer per house. That created an influx of purchases, and then it created a gap in 2022, 2023. People didn't need computers anymore because they bought so many in 2020 and 2021. Now, for the good news. Those computers that were purchased in 2020 and 2021 are going to start to need to be upgraded starting in mid to late 2024 and growing in need in 2025 and 2026. Both Intel and Micron will benefit from that. Intel is forecasting personal computer industry growth of low single digits in 2024, while Micron is forecasting low to mid single digits. So Micron is a little more optimistic about the personal computer industry in 2024 than Intel. Both Intel and Micron are very optimistic about the personal computing industry for 2025 and 2026, as artificial intelligence is going to start to become infused in these personal computers, which is going to make that replacement cycle even more pronounced, because now those computers from 2020 and 2021 are going to feel really old now that those computers in 2025 are going to be enhanced with AI technology. So they're both optimistic about their prospects for the next couple of years. In fact, if you look at Intel, analysts on Wall Street expect Intel's revenue growth to increase by 5.7% in 2024 and then to more than double to 11.6% in 2025. Robust growth to be sure, and an accelerating rate of growth. For Micron Technology, analysts on Wall Street are even more optimistic. 46.5% revenue growth expected for 2024 and 41.5% revenue growth expected for 2025. Remember, these are forecasts from analysts that are following Micron and Intel stock. It's a group of analyst forecasts. It's an analyst estimate, a consensus, if you will. And some might think better, some might think worse, but this is the group consensus among those analysts. Now, they're not always right. Nobody knows exactly what's going to happen in the future, but this is their best estimate for what they think Intel and Micron will deliver in 2024 and 2025 in terms of sales growth. The next metric I'm going to compare these two on is operating profitability. And you can see Micron really pronounced volatility here, very up and down in cyclicality, and down big to negative 39.36%. Micron said that they feel they've hit the bottom of the cycle and they're on their way back upward over the next 6 to 18 months. Intel, meanwhile, is already demonstrating that upward trend. You see that upward tick there, 0.06%, but they've been above 30% before, and Micron has been above 40% before. So at the peak of the cycle, their operating profit margins should increase, with Micron increasing more than Intel because it's more volatile. It has more operating leverage. Its profits increase more when sales are increasing, and its profits fall more when its sales are decreasing. And I just showed you that for Micron, sales expectations are for 40% and 40%, above 40 and 40 for the next 2 years. And so that's going to have a more pronounced effect on its operating profit margin because the company has more operating leverage. It has more fixed cost. So when revenue grows, its costs stay relatively flat, and that expands its operating profit. So its prospects for increases are meaningful, as well as Intel, to be sure. The next thing I wanted to compare these two on is cash flow from operations to sales. How much of their sales turns into cash flow? And again, you see volatility from Micron, and both have experienced downtimes in recent years following that surge in 2020. You see 21.15% for Intel, 12.47% for Micron, and you already see the turnaround in this metric for Micron. And given its revenues expected to increase by 40% over the next 2 years, I wouldn't be surprised if Micron surpasses Intel in this metric over the next few years. And finally, I wanted to compare these two AI stocks on valuation, and the metric I chose to use is the forward price to earnings ratio. And according to this metric, Intel is more expensive, trading at a forward PE of 18.3, while Micron is trading at a forward PE of 13.73. Now, before I highlight which one I think is the better buy today, let me remind everyone that I have Intel and Micron stocks rated as buys. I rank both of them as a buy. I reiterated these recommendations in the last few weeks. But if I had to pick one of these two AI stocks to buy today, if you forced me to pick only one instead of both of them, I would pick Micron because of the excellent prospects over the next 2 years and how that's going to increase its operating profitability as revenue surges by over 40% over the next 2 years. Additionally, as more and more electronics are becoming infused with AI technology, there's going to need more memory and storage in those devices, more specifically memory, and that's the area that Micron specializes in, memory and storage, more so memory than storage. I believe 73% of its revenue in the latest quarter came from memory, and so that enhancement of AI technology is going to cause a surge in demand for Micron Technology's products. In fact, it said the band is going to grow at robust double-digit rates for the next several years, and Micron has said it's not going to increase supply as much as demand is going to increase because it wants to exercise pricing power. It doesn't want to increase the supply as much as demand so that there's a little bit of a shortage, there's a little bit of scarcity, so that then Micron can charge higher prices, and that's going to benefit its profitability and profitability industry-wide. And so for those reasons, if I had to pick one of these two, I would pick Micron Technology stock today. Did you know that over 90% of the people that watch my channel are not subscribed? It'll really help support my channel if you hit that subscribe button. And oh, by the way, one of the benefits of being subscribed is that I take requests from subscribers more often than I do from non-subscribers. So if you prefer that benefit, please subscribe to the channel.